This is What a Week.
What a week. Politricks.
Eta, welcome to another episode of Wow, What a Week. Hashtag Politricks. I am fresh. He is Botsang, and you are welcome. Yo, what a week. A 78-year-old apartheid minister packs for Washington. Juju packs for the appeals courts because he refuses to pack for prison. A judge packs his bags for impeachment. The DA packs one woman into its top structure. And Trump packs and unpacks a naval blockade in 72 hours. Strap in. This is Politricks.
Morning, Fresh.
Are we packed and ready for the show?
We are packed and ready for the show. Welcome back, bro.
Yes, sir. It's good to be back.
You are from the Republic of Cape Town. I was just thinking maybe you want to settle down there before they separate.
I will never do that.
I want some help.
They will never do that, and I will never do that. Yeah. They don't have a chance. You can do a referendum all you want.
Talking of the referendum in Cape Town, I learned something yesterday very interesting. An EU court ruled that people who lost money on online gambling and online gambling is not approved in their countries, like Germany, for example, and you have lost money, you can now sue the online company for a refund. There's a person who between 2021 and 2024 lost almost everything. They was on online gambling and it's German and it's illegal in Germany.
Yeah, but he opted in though.
Yeah, but they are saying if it's illegal, it's a court ruling now of their member states. Now you can sue them back.
So what? Meaning what then now? They need to start blocking.
I was asking myself why
access depending on the territory you're in.
Yes.
But also then surely if you have won and you're in a country where it's illegal, you must refund.
You must refund
the gambling company.
Yeah, they must claim for those who own
exactly.
Those, they must claim that.
Exactly. If it happens on the left, it must happen on the right.
Obviously. If I won the money, I would have shouted by now.
Exactly. Anyway. Let's go straight to Washington. President Ramaphosa has raided the trophy cabinet and pulled out a 78-year-old former apartheid minister to calm Trump down.
Yeah. I don't know if Dr. Roelf Meyer will calm Trump down, but Fresh, I normally say when I do the analysis, I always put the two options, whether the pros and the cons. But I said on radio when you were not there on Thursday to Tato, I have three positions on this whole issue of Roelf Meyer.
Yes.
And the primary one is we cannot talk of any current affairs or politics or even anything in the world when you don't talk about history. It's very important.
Sure.
Because our kids, for example, who are born fresh, who are in their mid-20s, and they will, what if they ask us, or any student of history or politics or international relations, who is Roelf Meyer? How did he get to that position? One will have to go and look at the history of who's Roelf Meyer. One, and some people may not like it. Some people may say we are bringing back old things, but it is part of our history. And the world is forgetting that Roelf Meyer was the Minister of Military Intelligence.
Sure.
He was directly responsible for crafting policies and documents on how to harass, to kidnap, to murder, and to even jail black people during the liberation struggle. That was his portfolio. Most of the people, like the Chris Hannies and many others who were jailed, and some were thrown into jail, some were sent into exile, it happened under the planning and the directive of Roelf Meyer himself. Pek Botha, the Magnus Malans, they were in the forefront of creating the apartheid era policies, especially Roelf Meyer. He grew up young in politics, a trained and qualified lawyer, and it's one of those people that the National Party had created and groomed from childhood, from varsity, to become apartheid machineries. And now you take that person, and I'll go to my second part, you take that person to deploy him to be our envoy or ambassador to the United States to deal with what? To deal with actually what he had created during apartheid. To deal with something that it is not our doing. It is the doing of the United States of America, the Democratic Alliance, as well as the AfriForum and Solidarity, and few individuals who claim that there is a white genocide in South Africa, there's killing of white farmers in South Africa. And what is the result of those people going to America to do that? It is the old apartheid white mentality as well as white supremacy. That's the only thing that led these people to go to the United States and lie. And now we want Roelf Meyer, who is an Afrikaner, 2 years old. Many can stand up and say he's a transformed person. He co-wrote the Constitution with President Ramaphosa, or they had a team amongst them, but they are being seen by many to be anchors of the current South African Constitution, which was adopted in 1996. And you want that person to go and engage with Donald Trump, who it is clear that he's a racist person, and to go and deal with one of the issues he will have to deal with. It's the issue of racism and white people running to the U.S. claiming and crying racism. Now, is it the right person to can deal with that? You know, that's my question. Are we thinking he is the right person to deal with that?
And also, we need to remember that at the TRC, I think with the likes of Adrian Flock, Pick Botha, and fellow Deputy Minister Leon Wessels, collectively apologized.
Yes.
None of them took personal responsibility, and all of them hid behind, we did not know who were on the kill lists.
Yes.
We are sorry that people died and were hit, but we were not in control of what SAPs were up to. What do you say to that?
And you know why I actually know that story vividly before even the TRC?
Yes.
I was serving Peg Botha. I was at the Department of Foreign Affairs and Information.
Yes.
Under Peg Botha from 1993
Sure.
to 1996, before I was posted abroad as a diplomat, while he was replaced by the late Alfred Nzo, Minister Alfred Nzo, Peg Botha. But for the year and the period I was there, the department, that's why it was called Department of Foreign Affairs and Information.
Sure.
It was a state machinery that was used with intelligence to can do these killings that they have apologized for. And now you ask me what I'm saying. It reminds me a story that South Africans are forgetting very easily. When Nelson Mandela appointed Robert McBride to be the South African ambassador to Geneva, to our multilateral office in Geneva, the then new National Party and the Democratic Party, they refused. They objected to Robert McBride being posted as
because
our
of the Magoo bombings.
Because of the Magoo bombings.
Yeah.
An activity he did under the liberation struggle.
Sure.
Now, the same country, under the same leadership, same principles, same constitution, stands up and say, it is not okay for a Robert McBride to be a diplomat or an envoy of the country because of his activities when he was a guerrilla or a military person of controversy. But it's okay that a likes of Roelf Meyer, who was at the helm of murdering people.
No, but he says he didn't know.
He cannot say
He said,
he didn't know.
no, but I get it. Nearly the group that apologized collectively. But no, Rona, we were just busy with the police. We were not there with kill lists, so we were not aware who was on the kill list.
What were the policy saying? The policy were actually informing them to entrench apartheid. But nonetheless, that's the second part that I look at it to say, where people are saying to me, but this is the good choice. He's going to calibrate. That's the word being used.
Yes.
Calibration of the relationship with America.
But I get it. Rolf Meyer, he has said there is no white genocide.
Yeah.
So do they think him saying the same thing that we've been saying is going to change the position, the U.S.?
Yeah, the U.S., exactly. You understand? I don't know.
Because he's going to perform the same song we've been performing.
We've been performing as a nation.
Yes.
He can't depart from a national position and the policy of the country. And it's a challenge for me. But first, that's not even the only thing. I sit here and I'm saying, now the third part is that, is he the best person to can calibrate Trump? Maybe he is, because he's white, true, he's Afrikaner. You understand?
How about the golf?
Apparently he's also a golfer.
Yeah.
And he's the same age as Donald Trump. And that's all he's going to do there.
But Trump's cabinet are all 20 to 30 years younger than both of them.
I wanted to come to that point to say, are we as a nation, don't we have a career diplomat? People are saying, okay, Botsang, Ramaphosa, guys, we have a pool
Yes.
of diligent,
Seasoned.
well-traveled,
Who don't
good
need-
career diplomats.
Who don't need extra training.
They don't need special
They're ready.
training.
They're ready to
they're
be
ready
posted.
to, and I'm not even saying the color or the
Yes,
gender.
yes.
I'm saying there's a pool of diplomats at Derco who can be put. They are professional diplomats who are in their 40s and 50s,
Sure.
who are as young as the people in the cabinet of Trump. Those are the things we're supposed to look at. If you're an ambassador of South Africa to Washington, who are you going to be engaging with? You look at the age of Rubio, you look at the cabinet of Trump, you look at the general age of diplomats and government officials in the world generally, unlike in Africa. It's 40 to 50 to mid 50s. And that's diplomats we are sitting with at Derco that we could use. Are we saying as a nation, if we wanted a political appointment, because as a president you can have a political appointment, but I've always said, with this situation, get a traditional career diplomat. That's the only thing that will sort this thing out. But again, are we not having women in the diplomatic cycles or in politics, wherever? You know who came to my mind? For example, Mojanku Gumbi, who has been our rep to the African Union, or representing us and doing well at the African Union Parliament, whether as an appointee for legal services or what. But it's just her who comes to mind. And there's many other seasoned career diplomats that I think President Ramaphosa could have appointed. Because for me, as a black South African, I think sending Roelf Meyer there to appease Trump, it's an insult to us, because we are appeasing Trump. We want Trump to be happy, to have a white old man who plays golf, who can talk an Afrikaner language.
But isn't that what diplomacy is, though? Diplomacy is the ability to speak to you in a way that might change your mind about me or reinforce what you feel about me. And if it takes sending an almost octogenarian with whom you can, have conversations that you have a commonality in, then that's the person to send.
We are addressing just one issue.
And we can't send a woman because Trump has no respect for women. In fact, he famously said that when you're famous, you can get away with even groping them.
Yeah.
So,
I'm saying, that's why I say we are appeasing Trump. We're not looking at the best interest of the country.
Sure.
There's a lot to be done as a diplomat. There's a lot of work to be done on it. It's not like
it's not just golf and genocide.
golfing and making and dining and making President Trump happy. There's a whole lot of work. Are we saying the old man is in a position to can do that at 78? I'm not taking anything from Roelf Meyer, his capabilities, education and what, but I'm saying I don't think this was the best decision, except that Trump may be happy with this old white person, and that's all.
And while we're at TRC, we also need to remember, if we're going to compare McBride and Roelf Meyer, that McBride appeared in front of the TRC, he applied for amnesties, he disclosed, he even apologized to the families and was granted amnesty.
He didn't say, I don't know.
Roelf Meyer took the collective, we didn't know.
We didn't know. Yeah, the collective, not as a person.
And, that was him, Flock, Pigwater and Vessels.
Yeah, I had forgotten Vessels. I know it was him, Flock and Pigwater. I had forgotten the fourth
the
person.
ANC even accused him of failing the disclosure test, and that he walked away untouched, and that it was unjust.
And
that
we
it happened like that.
And we are sitting with that person to represent us in the US. I don't say we should not forgive people.
Yes.
But there was an opportunity created by the TRC for these people to come out clean, to probably even tell us where are the bodies of some of the people who are missing. It was under the same Flock and Pigwater and him, Mr. Roelf Meyer, when kids of ages 12 and 14 were murdered in the former Transkei, sleeping and claiming that it was Appler forces in that house. 12 to 14-year-old kids, two were from one family, some were neighbors and friends, and they were murdered under these four people. And we are sitting here, we're like, it's okay, we have forgotten. While it was not okay that Robert McBride, who actually even served jail sentence, the guy was supposed to be hanged, by the way, few months before.
Exactly.
He survived there. But look, this is our country, and for me, on a serious note, I don't think it's a right move for Mr. Ramaphosa. But somebody said to me, somebody has to make a decision, and Botsang, unfortunately, it's not you who has to make a decision. And let's see how it goes. And let's hope President Trump will accept him as well, because there's another thing that's coming. But Trump is a racist person, and I think him being white and old and a former apartheid minister is green chicks from Donald Trump.
They have way more in common than not, actually. No, but also I think we can't discount the relationship that the mayor had with President Ramaphosa. I mean, I remember when Roelf Meyer was at the TRC talking about the homelands. Even the Archbishop Tutu, may his soul rest in peace, he joked about that it's weird seeing you alone when you and Ramaphosa are like Siamese cats. You're always together. Because at some stage, they were inseparable. So is this not him also saying, I know you're old, I know you're retired, but I need you to do me this one last favor?
Yeah, we have a working relationship.
We have a working relationship. Yeah. And sometimes you can't blame number one for making a call based on, I know I can trust this one
element.
to walk this for me.
No, that's a fact.
And we can't discount that favor.
Yeah. Anyway.
You see, so yeah.
I think the country must start changing as we move forward towards deploying people who are young into positions, who are capable, because it also demoralizes people fresh.
Yes.
Understand? Imagine you're a career diplomat, you have studied, you are sitting at Delco as a chief director or a DDG, and then they go and pull a Roelf Meyer from a dusty cabinet, and you are sitting there when there's young people who could have, some have been posted and they are abroad. Some people are CJs or Consul General CGs in the US. We've got about 4 or 5 missions in the US. Those are things we should have looked at. Treat somebody who's already maybe even there from a Consul General or from the United Nations mission and move them to the bilateral mission. But the ship has sailed, my brother.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just checking my notes. Let's go to the courts.
Yes, sir.
We have 2 verdicts, 2 very different endings. One politician is meant to head to prison. The other judge heading for impeachment. Where do you want to start? Do you want to go to the Mbenenge, or do you want to go to Juju?
No, the Mbenenge one, it's an easy one that we may just comment on it first.
So in a nutshell, the flirtation verdict has been scrapped. The Judicial Service Commission has overturned the decision by the Judicial Conduct Tribunal in the Mbenenge matter. The tribunal reduced hundreds of explicit WhatsApps to consenting adult banter. JSC says it was sexual harassment, full stop. It was gross misconduct, and an impeachment is, you can almost smell it.
Look, first, I had actually forgotten about that case. That it is pending the decision of the Judicial Service Commission. I had forgotten that part until it happened during the week. I'm like, oops, Judge Mbenenge is not off the hook. But you will recall when we discussed it after the decision of the tribunal, that I always had a reservation on the fact that even if there was consensus that we could see and all that, but to reduce it as flattering only, I had a problem with that. And what about the internal working relationships? I recall at the end saying, how is he going to walk into the office and face all other staff members as well in this instance?
Yes.
And what about work ethics and things like the Labor Relations Act, the code of conduct? And we even discovered at that time that there was no code of conduct actually until Minister Meyer said that they should draft and change it. Not Minister, Chief Justice Meyer came in and said they should draft that kind of code of conduct for judges, which was very weird that they didn't have that.
In the first place.
In the first place.
Yeah. Also because you think that in a place where there's scales of justice and there's very powerful people,
yes,
and then there's also very junior people. If you ever needed a policy, it was there. Apparently, you need to press something there.
Let me fix this for.
Yeah. Press another time. Yeah. Yes, sir. There you go. Hey, so like I was saying, I think if ever you needed a policy,
Yeah.
it's in a place like that.
It's in a place like
where
that,
you have
yes.
some of the most powerful people in the country,
Exactly.
and then you also have junior staffers.
Look, with the recommendation or the decision of the Judicial Commission, I don't think he will escape this. It's not even smelling impeachment. That committee is very powerful, and it is just going to recommend to Parliament that look as the commission. I don't see any MP going to vote against the recommendation of that, because this election in time, you don't want as well as a political party
Yes.
to gamble with a situation whereby you are going to save the career of a almost retiring judge and risk losing votes and being lashed out by families and people who believe that sexual harassment at the workplace is a very serious matter, and the country is faced with a lot of gender-based violence and all those things. So it's sad that Fresh, in a simple language, he is actually going to lose his pension. He's going to be impeached, his job and everything for flittering, for not even, because none of them have talked about having a physical sexual encounter. You understand? So
You're going to lose it all over texts.
yes. It saddens me that an adult is going to lose a whole block, and a judge, not just a normal person in the society. I understand where the law comes from. I understand what the JSC is talking about, even after that marathon of the tribunal. I do. But I'm now sitting here as a human being, a parent, to say all will be blown out for flattering.
For flirting.
For flirting, yes. You understand? So it's a sad state of affairs, and yeah.
What do you say to people who flippantly treat this as, why should my career be taken away from me for hojola? For hoshela.
Yeah.
That why are we criminalizing hoshela?
Hoshela.
Okay, forget that you are a member of a powerful member of society, you're married, you've got kids. Let's forget that for a second.
Okay.
People are refusing to almost see the impact of when a powerful person says jump and you don't jump. Often it's to your own detriment.
Yeah.
Yes, she had no business flirting back.
Yeah.
But when you understand power dynamics, you might
yeah.
understand why she felt she didn't have a choice. Yes, that time she did it unsolicitedly, and we don't know how desperate she was to keep her job.
Yeah. First,
So yes, le no sile.
Yeah, no, but both actually.
Mengo le no sile.
Because she responded to that, and as you said, sometimes unsolicited.
But we don't understand the dynamics of that power imbalance and
yes.
what it might lead to.
True.
It might be let me give an example. If you live in a house with a volatile, violent person, you'll even go out of your way to make sure there's peace.
Yes.
You'll make sure that if you know that they like that tea with warm milk, that there's warm milk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you start pandering to anything that will bring me peace.
Yeah.
Not that you are trying to support or abuser.
Yeah. But you'll do everything under the sun.
Exactly.
The peace should reign in the family or in the house.
So for me, that's how I am viewing it. That yes, osile, but also we don't understand how people operate under the duress of Ishkana the boss wants me.
Yeah. But for
what
me,
do I do today just to get through today? We don't know.
We don't know, yeah. But for me, the most important thing, Fresh, I'm by the rule or book of rules. There are laws in the country, and he's a judge. There are laws that talks about relationships at work, or regulations or guidance, even if they are general.
Yes.
And you have mentioned the power dynamics, but it's a workplace, and And look, there's relationships, and I've mentioned the relationship as an example of the former mayor of Tshwane,
Sure.
Dr. Kosientsho Ramokgopa, who had a relationship with his secretary, but eventually they got married because he came open about it, and she was shifted from that position. It's a different story. It does not mean there's no rule or law that says you can't have relationships at work, but it depends on your level and the official relationship between yourself and the subordinate. So these are rules. Look, I have to agree with the JSC on the fact that it was harassment. I have to agree with that. Unfortunately, in this instance, she was not charged.
Sure.
She was not. So people can stand up and say, "What about her?" But I always say she was not charged. Nobody complained. Nobody reported it. And somebody must stand up and go and lay a charge that she was seducing or flattering, flirting with the boss. But there was no charge like that. And for me, this is water under the bridge. I don't see a turning back on this one.
So are you saying it's an impeachable offense and it will go through?
It will go through based on the decision of the JSC.
Sure.
It will go through. And Fresh, sometimes...
Do you think he can defend it and not be impeached?
Defend it where?
No, I'm just asking that in a parallel universe, do you think it is defendable at any level? Or is it a very simple, clear cut? You have no business in your position taking advantage of a junior staffer, even if you genuinely liked them.
Yeah.
And also, many would argue, then why did she not just block him? I must still go to work and face this person tomorrow.
Personally, and this is my personal view,
yes,
and opinion and feeling, I don't think the offense is impeachable.
Okay.
I don't think.
So what penalty would suffice?
By the rule of the book and the labor relations practices and conduct, it's misconduct that is not for dismissal. Maybe...
What if the company policy says, what if a company has a ask once policy, where you can ask once, if he or she says no, you close that door.
Yes.
And I ask a second time.
Yeah.
Is that fireable?
That you ask for if the policy is there.
If the policy is there.
The policy is there.
So
there was no policy.
In the absence of a policy.
In the absence of policy.
But with the position you hold, where you are expected to behave in a certain way,
yes,
and you are held to a standard higher than the normal citizen.
Yes. Based on that, they will impeach him.
Yes.
Humanly, I don't think a person should lose his job, career, pension, and all that because of this kind or level of misconduct.
Okay.
Like Bogoshela and all those things. I don't think at that level. But maybe demote him to a junior position with a penalty of forfeiting a salary for a certain period and demote him from being the judge president to a magistrate or something of that nature.
Okay, so you're saying rather demotion of sorts, but not
an absolute impeachment. I would have said that.
But what if they argue that you have shown that you're not worthy of these robes based on your lack of judgment? Then what happens there? And you're talking about you can't lose your job for Roshela.
Yeah.
But there's that fine line between I am asking you out and I am now being a nuisance. There's also that fine line.
Based on the information we had,
yes,
or we have, because we have heard the presentations
sure,
and the submissions
sure,
of both parties.
Only what we were allowed to hear.
Only what
I'm sure there is worse.
But what I'm saying is based on what we know.
Yeah.
And the fact that there was never a no, I don't
sure,
want you. There was never that part.
Okay.
It was not harassment for me. For me, it was not harassment.
So okay. So for you, it's two adults that were being inappropriate to one another.
Exactly.
But the balance of power says the one should have not been making those
yes,
judgment errors.
Yes, that's the only thing. That's the balance of power. They were consenting. You are raising a very important thing. The fine line of saying, if there was a person that says no, if a person said no, like in the old days, they used to talk about rape
Yes.
in courts. I've sat in a court and listened to a rape case, and very funny things that prosecutors will do. They will ask their victim, "Did you say stop?"
Yes.
You know, and the word it was stop, it was not no.
Exactly.
That they insisted people should use, which I think it was nonsense. But in this instance, there was no stop. There was no. There was no, I'm not interested. I don't want to. I've told you before. Those things were not there.
I agree, which brings us back to the power dynamics.
And I'm saying that's the only thing that puts him.
That a lot of children who've been indecently assaulted by family members, including their own fathers, often are silent through that ordeal.
Yes.
So because a child did not say, "No, Papa, don't indecently assault me. No, Malume, don't indecently assault me," it doesn't mean they consented.
No,
You know what I
that's
mean?
not consent.
I mean, there's even a talk of the betrayal of the body.
Yeah.
Where a person will say, "But she was wet. She must have wanted me."
Yeah. No,
But a body prepares itself
yes.
subject to what it is going
It is
through.
subjected
So
to,
because she was wet does not mean she wanted you. It just meant her body adjusted accordingly because obviously there is something happening down there.
Yeah.
But because sometimes we don't want to apply ourselves, we think because she was wet, therefore she wanted it.
Yeah.
Because she didn't say no, therefore she wanted it.
Yeah.
But we're talking, for argument's sake, about a child. Or we're talking about someone who's your subordinate.
Yeah.
You're old enough to be my father. What am I going to say?
Look, I hope all other people in powerful positions, whether it's judges or men especially in powerful positions, let it be a lesson to most of us.
Yes.
That stay away from such engagements, and especially with these days of technology. We have seen with the Matlanga commissions and others, documents being extracted from messages that we thought we deleted. And look, like I said, I am sad of what came out of this as a human being. For both of them, actually, I'm sad for actually both, because the lady is not going to enjoy, peace at work, that people are going to look at her and say, by the way, we're not ukubisite judge. And by the way, you were also playing along. We don't know how many more men will start approaching her now to take advantage of this whole case and situation. So I'm sad for both of them. It's an unfortunate situation that should have never happened.
It's a lose-lose situation. Yeah.
Because for me, losing your job, only your dignity, even her dignity, her personality and everything else. So there's never a kind thing when relationships are broken. It's never a kind thing. Yes.
Let's talk Juju. 5 years direct imprisonment. The toy gun defense finally expired. He's been sentenced to 5 years direct imprisonment in his firearm handling and discharge case. The court called it premeditated, not celebratory. Magistrate Olivier said the shooting was premeditated rather than spontaneous, planned down to who'd hold the rifle when it would fire. Vibes is not a legal defense. Let's talk about this.
Hi, Fresh. We spoke about this in length many times, and it's unfortunate. Look, now that this is done, as firearms owner, a person who likes the law, a person who adheres to the law, and I've said it from day one, firearms are not toys.
Yes.
Whether they are a toy or a noise-making firearm or any other type of firearm, it's not things that we should play with. And I think this case, it lasted 8 years. It could have never come where it was.
It could have been a week.
It could have been a week if Mr. Malema, and I've said it from day one.
We have said it from day one.
Could have just went to court and pleaded guilty and apologized, even if he could have said, I was excited, I was reckless, I was
caught up in the
ignorant,
moment.
I was caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
I am wrong and I apologize. Trust me, Fresh, this would have not even resulted an imprisonment sentence.
I would even have gone a step further and said, as part of my showing remorse, I am willing to do some community service, go into communities that are dealing with gun violence and do talks with youth, about gun safety, firearm safety, maybe even go to schools. So there's so much that could have been done to spin this beautifully.
Yes, very, very.
Without it becoming the circus that it has become.
Still could have been found guilty. He will plead guilty.
Yes.
He still would have been sentenced, but not to physical imprisonment. I don't think so. I also think what worsened the situation is to try and spin it, one, to say it was a toy, and I said, to try and bring the racial part into it, to try and bring the political part into it. This had nothing to do with race and politics. And as he said, when imperialists are coming for you, they'll do anything under the sun. If you know, as a 45-year-old adult, that these people are coming for me, fine. He was in 40s, early 40s that time. That these people are coming, or late 30s, these people are coming for me. You then develop a defense mechanism of, let me not play into their hands.
Give them zero ammunition to come after them.
Understand? Things like that. And
because Vele AfriForum have it in for him.
Yes.
But then give them no reason to come for you.
To come for you, yeah.
Because you know they're gunning for you.
Exactly. And
pun unavoidable. Yeah.
And this is what I've always been, and we spoke about it many times, me and you, to say, leave the politics and the rest. You are faced with the law and the court. And focus on what the law is saying and what you are expecting the court to do. Going to court and say, is the most beautiful thing you can do in the law in South Africa.
There's power in that.
That's why courts are using words like, you must show remorse, and they will even ask in court, so now that you are showing remorse, what do you want the court to do? Because they will ask you, what do you want the court to do with you now?
Remitigate. Remitigate.
I personally think this is what worsened the situation. And also the fact, there was a time Mr. Malema was actually calling that magistrate an old racist, white, sick lady who can't even read. He's finished, and all. That was very wrong. But the judge is not supposed to be applying her mind based on the utterances of Mr. Malema outside the court. It's not supposed to do that. But judges are human beings. Magistrates are human beings as well. So these things will influence their decision. The good thing that happened here, and I want somebody during the week, and somebody said, now Julius is thinking the country will come to standstill if he goes to jail. And I said, guys, it was going to come to standstill. If you look at videos of EFF members, how they organized and grouped themselves in Joburg, not only in Kwakumpu, in Joburg, in Mpumalanga, I must get used to that. In Mpumalanga, in Limpopo and all that, the country was going to turn into chaos. And
in fact, a lot of shopkeepers downtown Joburg didn't open their shops.
Their shops, yes, because
they didn't know what's going to happen.
What's going to happen? So it's good that they are lost. They were so organized. Somebody was telling me that they had bikers, economic freedom fighters, bikers, who were ready to take the matter to a higher court, which is outside the city, to a higher court, and escort the legal team. They even had a chopper ready to pick the legal team to
make sure no day spent in
one night is spent in prison. That's how organized Julius and his people are. And people were saying, is this going to impact the EFF politically? I don't think so. The EFF is a very solid organization. They've got structures in place.
Absolutely.
He's got, as much as he is being seen as the supreme leader of the EFF, but they've got structures. They've got a deputy. Gutrich Gardi is a very good a leader of the EFF. He has been there from inception, and many other people are there. And it does not mean if Julius is not in parliament, he can lead the EFF. We have, for example, Jacob Zuma is not in parliament coincidentally because of his sentencing to jail as well. You understand? Herman Mashaba is a leader of a political party that's well represented in parliament. He's not in parliament. You don't have to be in parliament to can represent your party. Julius can sit at the Winnie Mandela House, which is EFF headquarters, and still lead the organization. To say he will go, and now, looking at balance of probabilities, the fact that the magistrate also, people are saying the judiciary is independent from politics. I don't think so.
Please press It's fine. Okay, we're going to carry on. Yeah.
I don't think there's independency there. But what I can tell you, Fresh, is that it was a good decision for this judge. It was also a very, very critical decision. To remember, when you are going for appeal, the leave to appeal, you must request from the presiding magistrate or judge. For her to say, I am not granting you leave to appeal for the judgment, the guilty verdict, but I'm granting it for the sentencing. So go and appeal only the sentencing. They say they will appeal everything. But for the sentencing, it was a good move to grant that because it kept Julius out of prison, on Thursday night.
What do you say to people who say she messed up by mentioning appeal in her legal reasoning in the first place? And that Malema's lawyer is enforcing that she foresaw the possibility of an appeal, and therefore that may have clouded her judgment in the first place.
What do they mean by she using the word appeal? Remember the appeal part, they applied for it. They asked for it. She had to make a decision on that. And there's no way she cannot mention the appeal because it's a totally new application that they had ready. As they walked into court on Wednesday the first time, they had that ready to say we are going to apply for leave to appeal. And there's no way the judge or the magistrate could have avoided considering it, especially that they brought it in as an urgent application.
Sure. And
that's why they were ready. If she would have declined them leave to appeal, they were ready to go to the higher court or another court they call it to the appellant as appellants now. And this is where you go to the appeal court to make the appeal court to say that judge was wrong to deny you leave to appeal, and they focus on that. So she had to mention the appeal in her decision, the judgment of the appeal, request to appeal.
Sure. Yeah. But there's 3 more courts he can go to, so it'll be a very, very long journey.
No, this is going to be many years, many. Let me tell he got the appeal. They're going to start all over and start with the judgment. There's quite a number of things that also happened in this case. The delays, the back and forth. People are questioning that the person who handed the firearm to him, why was the guy not judged? That has nothing to do with Julius's wrongdoing.
No, but did he not admit guilt?
He was acquitted.
But based on what? Actually, he admitted guilt. Did he admit guilt?
No, I can't remember what, but he was acquitted because remember what I said previously. And this is what a court cannot preside over a matter or consider a matter that was never before the court. If you take Julius Malema and his BG, the bodyguard, and you charge them for discharging a firearm in a public place, you are charging the bodyguard for the wrong thing because he did not discharge the firearm.
But he was negligent.
But was he charged for negligence? Was he before the court?
So why was he not charged with negligence?
Because you think AfriForum is going to go and take their Afrikaner brother.
But we would not be here. We would not be here if it wasn't of someone else's negligence.
I agree.
So surely if AfriForum are about justice, if AfriForum about the law, then everyone involved in the thing, the entire chain that led there, should be held responsible.
AfriForum is not about the law and justice. AfriForum, it's about the Afrikaners' white justice and supremacy. And we should be clear, they're not going to do general justice for everybody. AfriForum is very clear what it exists for. It exists for the interest of the Afrikaner people, especially their culture and their history. They are for that. Now, we can't expect somebody who has formed an organization for the benefit and the protection of the Afrikaners to go and lay a charge against an Afrikaner. They'll be doing something against their own, basic rights and existence. So, like I said, you cannot go and say the judge should have said to this person, you were negligent, because there was no charge of negligence that was brought. What is his name? Malema's bodyguard, I just forgot his name. Snyman. Adrian, yes. Adrian Snyman. He's a Snyman. He's snake.
So he was in court alongside Malema on 2 counts. Failure to take reasonable precautions to avoid danger to person or property, jointly with Malema,
Mm-hmm.
providing a firearm or ammunition to a person not allowed to possess it, Snyman only. He was acquitted because of insufficient evidence.
Yes.
His co-accused, former bodyguard Adrian Snyman, was acquitted of charges relating to supplying the weapon due to insufficient evidence. The state essentially couldn't prove beyond reasonable doubt that Snyman knowingly gave the firearm to someone not permitted to possess it. The charge requires demonstrating intent and knowledge, and the state's case did not meet that bar. So let's talk about the contradiction then. The court found Malema guilty of unlawful possession of a firearm.
Yes.
The court found Snyman not guilty of giving the same firearm to someone not allowed to possess
to have
it.
it, yeah.
So the rifle was unlawfully possessed by Malema, but lawfully handed to him by Snyman. Snyman escapes liability, but the person he handed the gun to goes to prison for holding it for under a minute.
Fresh.
Like, come on.
No. I don't agree with that comparison.
Hey,
Hear me.
yes, sir.
Their defense, Malema and Snyman, their primary defense was there was no firearm there was a toy.
But ballistics experts verified or who shoot the gun.
Ballistic experts,
Yes.
Oshutile Gani, there was no evidence, and I'm not defending Snyman. And remember, they based it not because they picked up cartridges, they were there physically and compared the cartridges with the firearm they had. There was no evidence that was presented before the court that the firearm that Malema discharged is the one that was licensed to Snyman.
Sure.
That evidence, that's why the judgment that time said the state could not prove. And that evidence was not brought before the court. The state could not prove. The state never had Snyman's gun with serial numbers, cartridges that demonstrated through ballistic tests that these cartridges that were picked up at the scene came from this particular firearm. Here is the ballistic report. The state did not have that information. We are assuming where we are sitting that the gun that Julius Malema discharged, because the discharge was there. There's evidence to that. And Malema didn't say he didn't discharge the firearm. He said it was a toy. Now, if Julius says, no, it was not a toy, it was not Snyman's gun, who actually gave Snyman a go away there? It's Julius.
Sure.
By testifying that, no, it was not Snyman's official gun, it was a toy that we carried to, understand? So now, Julius says, it was not him. Why do you want this guy to be sent to jail as well? When his master says it was not his gun, there was no evidence before the court.
Snyman is now suing for malicious prosecution. Out of that 20 million. What are your thoughts on that?
Snyman is going to walk out with a nice 20 million.
You figure?
I think he will. If we play by what is before the court, what is before us, look, people who were there, they will tell you it was his gun, he handed over, blah, blah, blah. They were never called in to testify. Understand? However, I am basing my analysis and my comments on what was before the court.
Absolutely.
That's all.
Because the court can't decide on anything that they don't have in front of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
The same process, the police, AfriForum, and prosecutors, they failed to even bring Snyman's gun to court to say, Julius, you are lying. This is the gun that was used, and this is the cartridges that were picked up, and there's ballistic report. They failed to do that. Maybe deliberately to save Snyman, but also maybe deliberately because there was no gun, there was a toy. In Mr. Malema's defense, there was a toy or a replica. That's not a firearm, a real firearm. So that also worked to his disadvantage. It saved Snyman, it worked to his disadvantage. That's why I said at the very beginning, he could have said, I was too excited, it's wrong, because I do not know. The Firearms Control Act gives a maximum of 15 years. That's the maximum you can get for discharging a firearm in a public place.
No, in fact, for a pistol, it's 5 years.
Okay.
For a semi-automatic, it's 15.
15.
And that was a semi-automatic.
Yes.
So the 5 years, yes, it's a slap on the wrist.
Yes.
But
It's not the
I
maximum.
still think it's harsh, that 5
I
years.
think it's harsh. I think it's
very
harsh.
harsh.
It's very harsh. I think so, especially for a first-time offender. I think it is very harsh. I don't know of any case in this kind of case law. I don't know any. I don't say it doesn't exist where a person has been sent to prison for discharging a firearm, playing with it
In a
public place.
celebratory manner.
In a celebratory manner. I don't know of any case law that has happened. And when we spoke about this case, I spoke about at the funeral of the late minister or deputy minister of military veterans, Kim Mapatwe.
Yes.
That when former Umkhonto cadres were also doing the same thing at the graveyard,
Yes.
a bullet went on to hit a woman.
Oh, yes.
Who was sitting
And
on a porch, an
an
old woman, and apparently she's paralyzed because of that stray bullet.
But no one went to jail for that.
Nobody was charged, nobody was investigated, nobody was jailed. I don't know why didn't Afriforum pursue that case. So I think that's what makes me say this 5 years is harsh, and it's because it's a public figure, because it's Julius Malema. But first, let me also say, Julius Malema as a lawmaker and an adult who I know is very passionate about safety of women and children, should have known that he shouldn't do such things. No matter how excited you are, he should have known as an adult. The EFF is a very well-organized machinery of an organization. Why didn't they buy firecrackers if they claim that this was for celebrity purposes? We have Diwali, we have the Christmases and New Year's. People use firecrackers. There's a lot of parties when there's soccer tournaments, people pop stuff, people pop champagne. Why didn't they do that? Why a firearm in a society where guns are actually being used as the number one weapon of murder? As a lawmaker, he's not an ordinary person. He's an adult, he's a leader of a political party, he's a leader of society, he's a parent, and he's a lawmaker. And those things should have made him to conduct himself a little bit differently, the way you were saying with Judge Mbenenge. And it should be a lesson for him. We don't criticize everything.
Juju also claims that Caesar, the prosecutor, knew in advance that co-accused Snyman would be acquitted and allegedly told him to collect his firearm before judgment was delivered. Juju asks, how did the prosecutor know that accused number 2 is not going to be found guilty? He's now calling for prosecutor Joel Caesar to face a perjury charge. I think they also tweeted against the prosecutor.
Yes.
And even said something like he must be dealt with. And we're told that it's not being treated lightly, that he must be dealt with. It's going to be treated as a genuine threat, because I think 3 prosecutors already in the Eastern Cape have been assassinated.
Yes.
So the NPA, but they're not taking this lightly. But the EFF are saying that, no, man, it's not a threat of violence.
But what dealt with, was it dealt with by the authorities to say deal with this prosecutor or was it dealt with Abokasi or because I thought when Julius or economic freedom fighters were saying that prosecutor must be dealt with, I thought it was in a context of NPA. Deal with this person must be dealt with. There's an element of misconduct.
I get it, but now another one treated as a threat.
Yeah, but dealt with a threat in which sense? First, if I say to a minister of Watwati, you're one of your officials has harassed me or has done something wrong, please deal with that person, or he must be dealt with. It's not a threat to that person. Be dealt with how? Maybe a disciplinary hearing. I'm failing to understand how did we as a nation arrive at a point where we thought or we are thinking he must be dealt with. It's a threat. It means physically dealing.
It's death.
It's death. Yeah. For me, when I say somebody must be dealt with, and I've said it to many people, I've got a lot of pending cases, and I've said somebody must be dealt with. It cannot be left like that. And I simply mean there must be a disciplinary process to deal with that particular person.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are we done in the courts?
Yeah, we are done in the courts. But I'm relieved and I'm happy. I'm not a person who will celebrate when another black man falls or go to jail. But people must learn to do things the right way. You know, I always say, I'm scared of the law, guys. I may be having a big mouth and I do a lot of wrong things as a human being, but where I know that I'm not supposed, I try my level best not to play in the hands of the law.
Sure. Let's talk about the DA's new look. Still pale, still male.
Well, is it pale? At least there's a little bit of color there. Yeah, the Democratic Alliance went to the elective conference last week.
Listen, the brochure is multiracial, but the power chart is still a boys' club.
Yeah, that part. Yes. The brochure looks good. There's three things I'm thinking about from the Democratic Alliance new leadership. One is the age; they are young. I don't know if there's anybody above 60 there, and two, it is people who have actually played a role in the party in various roles and reputable people in the society of politics. I think they will lead the organization very well. And it was clear for me that Lewis will get away with this one. It was very clear. He was endorsed by Helen Zille as well as Tony Leon, the veterans of the Democratic Alliance, and therefore, for me, it was a walkover. I didn't see anybody challenging me on that. But I am very disappointed with the Democratic Alliance. Even if people can say it is democracy, it is how they campaign. They try to explain. I was listening to their federal chairperson, Mr. Solim Simanga, saying, no, but if people campaigned and they were beating the campaign, there were other women who campaigned. I still do not understand why would the Democratic Alliance have, out of a leadership of 10 people, one black woman?
Sure.
One woman, actually. Let me leave even black out of this. One woman.
But again, another attitude is only the best will do. But unfortunately, we can't fix the past imbalances if we're not intentional about it.
Yes.
And if it means we're going to ring fence 50% of positions strictly for the women who are the best in the lot, then we do that.
We do that. Yes.
Otherwise, all we're doing is perpetuating what this society has looked like for the last 2,000 years.
And this is something that the DA is not picking up, why some of us are still regarding it as a white party.
Yes.
Or white-dominated party that is focusing on the interest of white people. It's exactly how they conduct themselves. And as you correctly say, Fresh, to address the imbalances of the past, you have to do something.
You have to care.
You have to show. And I like using the EFF as an example. When the EFF was formed, there was very clear adoption of a policy that 50% of their deployees and 50% of their leadership will be women. Even if there's voting, but ring fence it and let women contest each other and get the best out of those women. The DA should have long adopted a policy of increasing the number of black people in their leadership. One, even if they base it, on what? On the percentage of the black members they have. I'm being mathematical. I'm simply saying if 20% of the DA members are black, let 20% at least of their leadership be black. You can ring fence it.
Let it be representative, of our electorate.
Or they can even go further to say if 20% of their voters, because some people vote the DA but they're not members of the DA, who will give those positions in terms of the population demographics.
Sure.
And they're failing to do that. But again, then they go and they come with almost all boys. It was all white, male-dominated club before. Now it's 99% male. Okay, it's not only white at the moment. You have I've seen a person of Indian origin.
Yeah, there's Msimanga, Malatsi, Sarufen, Kwahube.
Yes.
It looks like a rainbow, but Sivire is the only woman there.
Yeah.
Minister Kwahube.
Yes. The rainbow without equal colors. The lines of the rainbow colors are not equal by size. And that's the challenge. But look, it's a new leaf for the Democratic Alliance. I'm just going to observe and keep wondering how is it going to happen that Lewis is sitting in Cape Town. And by the way, yesterday he announced that he is going to contest again for the mayor of Cape Town. Now you are the leader of the second biggest political party in the country.
But Zilla's done it before. Like Zilla at some stage was the leader of the party and she was a Cape Town mayor.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that it's a problem.
No, I don't say it's a problem. I'm saying you are aspiring. Their resolution from last week is that they want to grow the Democratic Party or Alliance to be the biggest political party in the country. That is, now I'm asking myself, if the mayor is swamped with the duties of a troubled city of Cape Town,
He's got a cabinet.
and how are you going to grow the party? And wouldn't he want to be the president of the republic?
Hey, I get it, but let's get the numbers first. Then we can do that. But for now, I'm not dropping this ball.
No, I'm not saying he should drop it now. I'm saying he announced that he's going to contest to be the mayor in future. Because after this...
Maybe he's conceding that I know I'll never be president anytime soon. So let me not drop this good gig that I've got going.
They don't have
Maybe let's read between the lines.
They don't have ambition.
You know what I
Then
mean?
it means they don't have ambition. They don't demonstrate. You know, I was thinking if the Democratic Alliance can ever be the biggest party in South Africa. It just crossed my mind as they were saying that. I recall during the week I was driving, and I'm like, why are we ruling that out?
Them being
The leading political party, the number one.
they're, yes, they've got good numbers-ish, right? But the fact that in the ANC breaking off to have a MKP did not get them massive numbers says to you, for a lot of especially black people, they're not ready for a white president.
They're not
keen on a...
They're not like Zambia. They're not like Zambia. Zambia had a deputy president who was white. And he nearly became the president when the president passed on.
In fact, Bongani Bingwa on 702 on Friday was talking about how he doesn't believe the DA are electable to a lot of black people.
Yes.
Yes, they might be doing the right things in the city of Cape Town, depending on which side of the railroad you live. But when it comes to at nationals, a lot of people still feel they're not make sure.
I actually listened to him. I was shocked that he actually went on in conclusion to say, no, they won't get his vote. He's not convinced that they deserve a vote, that they're not electable.
And I mean, for instance, for a lot of people, BEE is a big deal.
Yes.
And yes, it might not have been done or executed in the best possible way. But if you don't see color, as a lot of people like say, I don't see color. You see, you need to see color in order to fully appreciate what black people went through. You need to see color to appreciate what still needs to be done to equalize things in this country. So the fact that you don't see color for me is problematic, because then it says to me, "Haumponi," and you don't. You almost have no empathy button. You have no empathy filter through which you see things. For when everything is black or white.
If the Democratic Alliance would have addressed the issue of race inside the political party and how they see things, as you say, if they have addressed the issue of policies, not to see transformation policies as reversal of apartheid or reversed apartheid, and acknowledge and accept that in order for them to grow beyond a city of Cape Town, one of the things they can do to take care of black people who are voting them, because they can easily figure out fresh. They can look at the records of the IEC and see where they got the most votes and do something for those people, black or white. If they were operating like that, trust me, come 2029, 2034 elections, we will be seeing a different story. But they are not working towards that. They are still segregated by a location where people live, by race, and I don't see them working on improving to be a leading party, because this dropping of ANC votes, that some are not going only to EFF or MK. Some are actually idling some of those votes. And they are not taking those idling votes to convince to come to them. And this race issue is a very serious issue in South Africa. We cannot downplay it. we cannot undermine the role of race in the Republic of South Africa. And I think the Democratic Alliance is not playing clever with that opportunity. They're not being smart about that opportunity.
There's a video that went viral this week. I don't know if it's a priest who attended a meeting that Gogo Helen had.
Why do you think he's a priest? Is it the way he spoke?
Some people are, no, I saw one of the headlines saying it's a priest or a pastor or a cleric, one of them. And, he went on a tirade about the fact that he has a problem with the fact that the DA have an opportunity to speak out against the genocide in Gaza, but they refuse to. And that they have the voice that they're not using. And a lot of people are saying that for me, that is why I can't relate with a party like that. That if, even when it's clear, it's black and white, that there's a genocide happening. That every institution under the sun that have the authority to say this is or isn't a genocide have said this is a genocide. But the fact that now you're still skirting around the issue is problematic. And a lot of people are saying it's little issues like that that say they're not reading the room, and I can't therefore put an X next to people who refuse to read the room, especially in a country that has dealt with injustice for so long, that has dealt with apartheid for so long. If you can't see that there's an apartheid state operating and busy genociding people, then why should we listen to anything you have to say?
Do you guys want the Democratic Alliance to go and spite to their funders in Israel and the Americans by talking on behalf of the Palestinians? They will not do that, Fresh. Politics is money.
Yes.
Politics is money, and the funders of the Democratic Alliance, majority of them could be from Israel, could be the real Jews, and you don't want them. Look, America has demonstrated that they can listen to the DA more than the ANC. They like the DA more than the ANC, and the America itself is already calling for South Africa to withdraw the matter from the International Criminal Court or Court of Justice. I don't think the Democratic Alliance, they want to gamble with that part, because then it may end up them losing. And talking for Palestine is not going to automatically guarantee them black votes or more votes. It's not. But it will definitely make them lose votes of the extremist racist people. They will lose those votes.
Sure.
Understand? Like the Democratic Alliance drop, it's a benefit for Freedom Front Plus. So I think they're being calculative in doing that. When that person that you say is apparently a pastor or priest was talking, because I saw that video, I was standing there listening to that rhetoric and questioning Zille, and I'm like, that man, if he's genuine with what he's saying, he should first tell his parents and forefathers to give us the land that his forefathers stole from us. Start with yourself. Don't tell another person like Helen Zille that he claimed that he doesn't like him. Hey, he doesn't like Helen Zille anyway. Don't go and tell Helen Zille, talk, stand up, you have an opportunity, you are a party, talk for Palestine, while you are sitting on the land that your forefathers stole from my forefathers. Give back the land first. Show how the DA should conduct itself, because anything he owns, it was stolen. It's proceeds of colonialism and apartheid.
Yeah, but he worked hard for it.
Yeah, but it was stolen. You found it. He didn't come with medals, with land and cattle here.
No, he worked hard for it. I mean,
how did they work hard? By killing a number of black people.
I'm living in a house that I worked hard for. So how dare you say I'm privileged?
Any white person who is going to talk fairness
about
in this country,
also, are you saying
justice.
You can't talk fairness and justice if you're not willing to acknowledge previous injustices and the privilege with which you walk into every room.
Yes.
Is what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You must first talk how unjust colonialism and apartheid is. You must stand up and say, my great-grandfather who fought against Kim Mushweshwe, King Shaka, and Engels was an evil person, should have not killed another human being like that. And actually, this farm or this house or this land that I acquired from my forefathers, I'm giving it back to the owners, or I'm prepared to give part of it back. But they must start there.
I was born in 1990. I'm a hard worker.
So we have history, we have records.
I've earned everything I live with.
You can keep only the things you work for, but what propelled you? What put you there?
Yeah, but you can't punish me for the skin I was born in.
So why do we want to punish? Why do we want to punish the Democratic Alliance for siding with their funders? I don't like double standards. That's it. Why do you want the DA is funded by Israel? It's clear. Like many others, it's very clear. Do you expect them to talk against them? No, it doesn't work like that. The hand that feeds you want to do what? To take a pang and chop it. What will you eat? There's no fairness in politics.
Sure.
There's no just in politics.
And I think the sooner you accept that politicians generally will always do what's in the best interest of their pockets and their funders, the less disappointed you'll be.
Exactly. That's why you find that the majority of the voters, for example, of the leading African National Congress, are in 3 most impoverished provinces, Limpopo, Eastern Cape, and the Northwest. They are the worst governed, worst run provinces. And actually, I went to read this week after the DA's leadership, I went to check the stats of the Western Cape. Actually asked somebody to send me that, and I was reading it. Of the Western Cape, why is it that we're busy blaming the DA of taking care of Cape Town and not Gugulethu, Langa and whatnot? And I have an answer, Fresh.
Tell us.
We have been wrong. The people of Gugulethu, Langa, what were the councillors there are ANC people.
Sure.
They are not DA people. DA is governing the province and the city of Cape Town. Those townships, they belong to the city of Cape Town, just like Soweto.
Yes.
But the majority of councillors that represent other political parties, mainly the African National Congress, come from those areas. So those councillors, that the people in Langa, in Gugulethu, in whatever a township, yes, those councillors are not doing work for their people. There are councillors inside the city of Cape Town. There's district municipalities. Those are not DA district municipalities. What are those councillors and councillors doing for their people?
Sure.
What are they doing? We are honestly sitting here and blaming the DA for doing good work for their people. Actually, DA is even now proposing to segregate them and building a Berlin Wall type, like to separate
a curtain.
A curtain, yeah.
To hide the poverty.
To hide the poverty and
no, but everywhere is to protect people.
Yeah, to protect people against criminals who are coming from squatter camps and theft and all that.
Now I want to build a wall so that the people who live in the squatter camps are stuck with the criminals.
Are stuck with the criminals, exactly. Let them kill each other. What are our leaders doing?
Sure.
Well, the people in Langa, the elected councillors there, what are those people doing for their own people? Where do they live? They can't tell me the DA is oppressing them, that they are not sharing the budget of the council with them. Let them bring figures out. Let them show us how the DA is refusing with money. Then we can tell Gogo Zili that you can't be swimming in our street swimming pools of Joburg. When you have left Langa in tatters. Then we can say that, but without figures and records of what are political representatives of other parties doing for their, for their constituencies.
Sure.
They have constituency money that they go and visit people in, Parliament gives you constituency money. What are they doing with that? I've decided to be a politician, and I hope when I become one, I must not be the one who thinks for my stomach and my funders. I must think for my people.
I have faith in you.
Yeah, I
have faith in you that if you join any political party, you'll be doing it for your constituents.
Yeah, no, I will, Fresh.
And not for your pockets.
Actually, we have talked
and for that reason, whichever party you choose to go with, I'll volunteer to assist you as my friend, not as someone deployed by a political party, because I know your heart is in the right place. I would gladly come and be a volunteer on any drive you do. I
can tell the followers of this show that I have finally decided to become active in formal politics.
Oh, wow.
And the announcement will come very soon.
Okay, we cannot wait. We're running out of time.
Listen.
The presidency security clearance crisis.
Yes.
What on earth is going on there?
There's an audit report that came, and the government departments do that now and then to audit the security of your personnel. and declarations and things like that. And it was found out that more than 100 officials in the presidency of the Republic of South Africa have one thing or the other that makes them not to get security clearance.
Jeez.
More than 100. I think it's about 160.
So they're not fit to be
They are
in
not
those positions.
fit, not necessarily that, but they are not fit to can receive security clearance.
Okay.
Because you need some level, security clearances up to secret, top secret, which is the highest.
Sure.
And some jobs may require you to have just secret or medium level of security clearance. And they were found not to be fit to do that. In the presidency, how were they hired? How were they recruited? Some, we must also be fair. Some, they may have committed those crimes or errors, because it's not only criminality.
Okay.
It involves other. The security clearance does not only involve criminality.
Sometimes
could
it's
be,
just
say,
you're
death, for
you're
example.
insolvent.
They're insolvent
Yeah.
and all those. Some,
Sure.
those things could have happened while they're already inside. You know, I've always talked about a situation I had at work where somebody, they wanted me to dismiss that person. I was chairing the disciplinary hearing because he had committed an attempted murder while he was at work. And then the person was not sentenced into jail, but then they wanted to remove him from the post as a peace officer. They wanted to fire him, and I said, no, let's remove him from uniform. Instead of dismissing this person, let's remove him from being a peace officer, but he can do admin work and all that. And now it's very worrying that after this audit report of the presidency,
Yes.
please, Ntate Ramaphosa, Lemme, Kanake, Nchabeni, guess what they're doing? They say they're going to outsource. We have the SSA, by the way, and the South African Police Service. They say they're going to outsource a company that will investigate and look at that audit and see how they can handle that whole process. Why are they going through that when we have SSA? Why are they outsourcing a company to come and vet and check what can they do with these people and this report? From which money, from which resources?
Because SSA are capacitated to do that, Mus.
Yes. They will then make a determination whether these people should be moved or they were not supposed to be hired or maybe they should clear their criminal record, whatever they want to do. But why outsource it? And for me, I have a problem with the presidency outsourcing something where there's already an audit report. Now they want to investigate an investigation. And at which time, which resources, and for what? Are you not having trust and confidence in your systems?
No, but the NPA has blamed entities such as the SSA for delaying the vetting process.
For doing what?
For delaying the vetting process in the first place.
Yeah, but SSA, remember even with the Madlanga Commission, the South African Police Service, do you know that, for example, the Commissioner of South African Police Service and Mkwanazi, they were appointed into a position without security clearance renewal, because they must renew it every 5 years because they were delaying. Why is SSA delaying individual? These are the things that the presidency is supposed to be concerned with, especially that the president moved intelligence into the presidency. Why are there delays? Is it because they are in short of staff? Is it because people are not cooperating? Why is there? You must look at the cause of the problem. Don't outsource it. So if the president says the NPA or the NPA's complaint that SSA is delaying with the process, you go and outsource it, you don't solve the problem. You don't check why is the SSA delaying with security clearance of very important positions in the country. We may be sitting here with ambassadors without security clearance. And that's why at some stage, we had Ambassador Peko, the daughter of the late Ntate Motsoko Peko, being our ambassador with a fake qualification or something like that. It is because the vetting process did not happen timeously. But why do you hire people without doing that? Now you are going to, you are going to disadvantage the people you have already appointed, because they didn't see anything wrong. If the employer accepts you without proper security clearance, what are you going to wake up after 5 years or 3 years? Are you going to dismiss that person to say, but you don't qualify? When we have enabled the situation, we must get our systems in order.
Sure.
Yeah.
In fact, as analyst Wonderboy Mahlatsi put it, SSA would rely on SAP's trained officers to do the work, highlighting the contradiction of outsourcing a function while depending on the very capacity that was weakened.
Yeah.
And that you don't fix a leaking roof by moving the bucket.
Let's move the bucket.
Which then asks the question, who vets the vetters?
Fresh. Somebody must be doing the job somewhere, man.
Yeah.
Look, we can't all be doctors.
Sure.
Doctors get sick. They get cured.
We can't all be chiefs. There must also be a regular tribesman.
There must be a regular tribesman. We can't all be chiefs. Look, the people, and I know when I was at DERCO, or Foreign Affairs, that the people, it's very difficult to get into SSA. And the people who are there, they are thoroughly vetted to get in there. It's not to say they are not vetted themselves. Now and then, and for example, my security clearance, it had to be level 5. And every 5 years, I had to renew it. Okay, I don't know if I'll ever qualify for that now, but I had to renew it every 5 years. So the presidency must get its house in order. One of the things that has happened during the course of this week, Advocate Breitenbach of the Democratic Alliance posed questions to Minister Mamuluku Gubai of Justice and Constitutional Development about why 6 years ago, fresh, when President Ramaphosa took office for the first time, gave a directive that the prosecuting authority must vet and run a lifestyle audit to the then Minister of Justice 6 years back. Until today, it's not yet done. It's not me who's saying it. Minister Kubai was at Parliament responding to that question to say it's not done. And when probed, why is it not done? Because it's a presidential directive. After 6 years, the reasons she gave Minister Kubai was the prosecutors are refusing to be audited.
Is that even allowed?
That's my point. There's a directive from the head of state.
But also, if you have nothing to hide, why are you refusing a lifestyle audit?
For me, it's not even, I don't care about the prosecutors refusing. I am worried about the state allowing employees of the state to refuse a lifestyle audit. They became smart. They outsmarted. And I don't think it's even smart. I think it's criminality. Their excuse, or what they used to the minister, they said, no, but we are having declaration forms. There's annual, when you work for the state, there's annual declaration forms.
So what are they saying? Trust us, we fill the forms.
They say we fill the forms. You
Trust
can use
us.
info, no, not trust us of the declaration form. I carry the employer has the opportunity to can go and test the information you have put on the form. By the way, I was dismissed for that from work for publishing my biography and not declaring it. But that's joke. The employer can take the declaration form and
go test it.
And go test it. So these prosecutors are saying to MPA and Mamulu Kubai, we have declaration forms. We don't want lifestyle audit. Base it on those forms. I think they're wrong. I think that's not the case. A lifestyle audit is a completely different process.
Absolutely.
And I actually think the government must do lifestyle audit on ad hoc. Randomly, not ad hoc. Randomly. Don't announce. Just conduct it.
Almost like doping.
Yes.
Doping in sport.
Yes, or like doping in sport.
Yeah.
Randomly pick up people and say, and it's not targeting people, let them put it into a policy. And I always say,
and maybe even have a lifestyle audit lottery. We're going to draw your name. If the system spits out your name, we're there on Saturday. You are not expecting us.
For me, government departments and entities must just develop a policy. Like they have policies for all other things, for declaration, a policy for relationships, a policy for conduct. How do you conduct yourself? Some they even have dress code policies. They must have a policy of lifestyle audit, where randomly they will come on call whoever is doing the audit to come and check the lifestyle of people. Especially that there has been, narratives and allegations of the prosecutor and the judicial authority being compromised. Understand? 6 years. Why did President Ramaphosa allow this? You give a directive. After 6 months or a year, you should be able, as the principal, ask your minister to say, hey, I gave you this directive a year ago. How is it going?
How's it going? Well, give me some results there.
Can't how is Tata Ramaphosa giving directives to departments? But we are over coffee. Hey, man, just do a lifestyle audit. It's supposed to be a written directive with time frames and deliverables. Unless we are running the country differently fresh. I don't know. I'm old school public servant. I think things are done by the book, by the rules, time frames, targets, feedback. 6 years.
Yeah.
And you told you lifestyle. And I'm telling you, most probably, if President Ramaphosa's directive 6 years back would have been done, some of the things that Lieutenant General Nkwanezi alleged by prosecutors, some of the things we are hearing
Those have long been
in the
flagged.
last...
Those have long been flagged.
Yes. They have long been flagged. Some would have also not even happened.
Exactly.
I'm waiting for this country to do a lifestyle audit of the judiciary. I'm telling you, I'm waiting. I don't know, even this Madlanga. I see they're calling everybody. Now it's 6 of 20, it's CFOs. I don't know why is the judiciary being left out of this.
Yeah.
We need a lifestyle. And when I say the judiciary, I'm not even talking only about the judges and magistrates, including personnel in courts,
True.
the registrars. People don't understand the powers that civil servants possess in very tiny, what so-called little small jobs. The power that those people possess. Imagine the registrar of a court, the power that person has. Before anything goes to the judges or the magistrate, it starts at the registrar's office.
And again, we've often spoken about most departments, it's not that they're dysfunctional. They just have parallel economies.
Yes.
Where give me something, I'll make sure that you jump the queue.
Exactly.
Or give me something so that the queue can move for you. Or so that your name can go to the top of the pile. So as long as there's opportunities for people to make an extra buck, we might think government departments are slow or that dysfunctional.
No.
It's just that's where people are eating.
Yeah. There's the department, let's use Home Affairs, and there's another Home Affairs parallel to that. This one, the main one, the official one, that's where the queues are long.
Yeah.
Because these people who are supposed to be doing their job, they are doing their Home Affairs on the side. And I'm using Home Affairs as an example. It happens with police. It happens everywhere. Last week, a neighbor of mine wanted to do something, and I was asking about something I want from Home Affairs. And it's like, no. You don't go. No, I'm listening to this person telling me, you don't go and queue there. There's runners there.
Yes.
And then you don't queue. There's runners at Home Affairs. There's people who say, no, I'll do it for you, don't worry. This man doesn't queue. He's found in the line. He comes back with documents where the Botsang are still queuing for passports there. And this person gets these things done. And then when it's time to do for those who queued, either it's lunchtime or the system is down. And then people declare government departments inefficient. And that's not inefficiency. It's maladministration and corruption by civil servants in those offices. If we don't tighten our grip on discipline in the civil service, we need to do that as a nation.
We're at an hour and a half. I think we must go home.
I'm tired. I want to go home. I want to go home.
We'll be back in a week. Botsang, how do people get a hold of you?
Let them first. We'll continue Monday morning at 938 FM.
Yes, sir.
Streaming on 938.co.za.
Yes, sir.
And then we can continue the chat on WhatsApp +2783 884 7787. And on social media handles at Botsang M, all of them.
Thank you as always, brother.
Thank you, Fresh, and thanks to the listeners.
We'll see you on the radio on 938.co.za this coming Monday. Coming to you from Discover TV, Let Them Be Your Stage. This has been another installment of Wow, What a Week, #Politricks. We are a part of the Africa Podcast Network. You can email waw@africapodcastnetwork.com. Shout out to Keletso Modisa Gang. She is our executive producer. And Trevor and his crew at Pezulu Works, they will turn any event of yours into a movie. Trust me, because I trust them. Thank you for joining us. We do this again next week. Please continue to like, subscribe, share, and most importantly, interact with the episode in the comments section. We appreciate every single input, negative and positive. Until next week, have a great week. In spite of yourselves. We're out of here.